we will be asking the question, what's going on? There are 3 piles to choose from, 1, 2, and 3. The first pile has an axolotl Littlest Pet Shop. The second pile has a panda bear Littlest Pet Shop. And the third pile has a puppy. You can take your time to choose your pile now if you haven't already, and I will find you at your respective reading. Hello pile 1, and welcome to your reading. As I get into your energy, I'm feeling that you may be a little bit tired recently, and possibly even a little bit, I'm hearing perturbed, but it felt like you may feel, a little annoyed or irritated. Oh, and on the bottom of the deck, actually, we have annoyed showing up. Just keep that out. I didn't intend to focus on that, but it made its way out. We have making an appearance just right out of the bat, helpless and mindful listening. Mindful listening is giving your full attention to whoever is speaking, pushing aside distractions, judgments, and even the urge to plan your reply. So let the person finish their thoughts without interrupting, but a still mind is important. We also have helpless showing up. Okay, this may be a feeling that you can relate to. When you feel like you have no power, are you feeling like you're not able to change or improve a situation that you're in? Are you feeling like you're not able to get help or support from others even though you need it? What made you feel this way? Oh, it's interesting too because it's like helpless is looking up at annoyed. It's like I'm taking notice too to this like third pupil here. Okay, so you may be like in a place where you're kind of looking for answers, but your energy at the moment is down, and down like you feel like you need to take a nap, but also down like you may feel, like we said earlier, annoyed, irritated, maybe in some regard a little bit depressed, but just the energy isn't like positive. Okay, so I'm getting like, your eyes are on the ground, the energy is kind of down, but you're looking up for answers. Spirit's wanting me to relay that I'm just hearing like you're not going to find the answers you seek while you're in this shape. You're not going to find the answers you seek while you're in this shape. And they're wanting you to simply rest. I'm just getting the feeling that you may be processing anger, actually. Do you find it difficult to control your temper in certain situations? But you may be in a situation where you replay things from the past in your mind. Something you didn't like, something that was intense, something that was uncomfortable, something that was hurtful or threatening. It's put you in this place of like self-protective, like a self-protective nature, guarding what's yours. And I'm like, we're getting here on the 9 of Cups, it's like guarding what's yours, but like I'm getting guarding your heart. You have pure intentions, and all of this is leading up to a moment where you think courageously. Maybe not like a particular moment, but it's like an era. This time is, this time feels like maybe it's a lull. Okay, but it's like actually championing you, that was hard to say, into your next chapter. It's sharpening your mental skills and your mental acuity. And even though it may feel like at the time that the opposite is true, it's like right now, I just heard like you're re-earthening your heart. It's like you're returning back to your roots, and you're returning back to, in some way, like nature. Your nature and nature as a whole, it's felt like a balancing act for you to navigate the territory that you're in as a personality. Like you as a personality feels like it's difficult to be in your circumstances, but you're balancing everything around you. And while you're balancing everything around you, spirit is there helping you balance everything around you. Okay, it's kind of acting as like a shield. I get the sense that this era too is surprising you, bringing things to your attention that surprises you about you. Like, maybe it's surprising you how courageous you can be. And Spirit's wanting you to know, like, you're in a transition period, okay? You're in a transition period, but this period this transition's coming quicker than you anticipate. Okay, I definitely get the sense that you're, like, waiting on something to happen, and, you know, you've let go of, you're like leaving something behind, and you are steadily moving towards something very quickly, but you're in this transition phase, so you're not really in the past and you're not really in the future. You are feeling like perhaps a little rushed because of this. And I'm hearing too, like, a fish out of water, but it's like, I think that saying typically is indicating, I can't stop yawning. I think that saying typically indicates, like, when something doesn't belong somewhere else or feels like it doesn't fit in somewhere else. But what I'm actually getting is you do fit in where you are. Well, you're in the right place. I'll say that. You're in the right place where you are. Okay, and it's like, I'm getting more like a fish out of water. Like, you feel like you can't breathe and you're flopping around and there's no food. But I'm just hearing, like, this is a strengthening trial. Like, this is a necessary strengthening trial for you. I'm just hearing too, you know, especially with I had the world sitting out like this, okay? And this is like underlying energy for you, okay? And I've never seen it like this, but I was seeing like a bracelet, really, and the ends being knotted here. I just heard, like, this era for you. You're in a moment where your fate is being sealed, and not in a scary way. I'm just hearing, like, red string theory, you know, like, what is yours, you are inevitably drawing near at this time. You know, I'm getting, like, too, like, that's why your energy is lower than usual. I just had to pause to yawn again. Your energy is lower than usual because you're pulling in things right now to your physical reality that you don't even see. And it's because you have energetically aligned to those things. But they have to physically, you know, it takes time for them to physically manifest, but they are literally tied to you and on their way. It's like you feel the weight of that tug on your energy body. I just yawned again, and you know, Spirit's wanting you to know, I just heard, like, pace yourself. You don't have to do everything all at once, all right now. Okay, it's okay to rest. It's okay to, like, stop and rest. And I honestly felt like that was a sort of a triggering statement to say stop and rest. Like, you may feel like you have no choice but to, like, go right now. This path is already unfolded, okay? And you are on the path. You're in the right place, and you are in the right place at the right time. So it's okay to stop along this path and, like, you know, make camp so that you can sleep for the next leg of the journey, before the next leg of the journey, you know? And Spirit's wanting you to. Let's see if anything else wants to come out from the emotions deck. So these are the emotions Spirit is wanting you to connect with, okay? Blissful, fawning, admiration. And I'm hearing like admire yourself. Admiration, these are all feelings of love, okay? Admiration, as you can see here, is a sense of wonder in holding another in high regard. Fawning, feeling a deep need to please someone in order to maintain safety or get them to like you. Blissful, feeling extremely happy or full of joy. Okay, this fawning here, that's really sticking out to me. Fawning and admiration. I feel like you were fawning over and admiring someone else in a very high regard. And this may have to do with this feeling of annoyance and helplessness, but Spirit's wanting you to fawn over and admire yourself. Okay, I'm hearing like there's been really a lack of this on your part. Like you haven't really admired self, you haven't stopped to admire self, and you don't fawn over self. You've in the ways that others haven't tried to tear you down, you really humble yourself. So Spirit's, yes, remain humble because there's a sense of integrity to that, but don't minimize yourself. You can admire you can admire what you are, what you have to offer, and like the places that you're going and where you're at. All that there is about you. We also have showing up, okay, and these are emotions within yourself to acknowledge, to connect with. Delighted, glad, lighthearted, and pleased. Okay, so keep things light. Keep things light. Keep looking at the sunny side of things. Okay, and I just heard sunny side up. So it's like, one side of you may feel cooked while the other is, you're turning over a new leaf is what I'm getting. And you may have one side of you that feels cooked, like the back side of you. Like you may feel like you've been stabbed in the back or betrayed. But Spirit is saying practice compassion and be the panda. So let's see what these say. Practice compassion. One thing that connects us all as humans is struggle. Can you notice when someone in your life is struggling? Try to observe their struggle without judging it. Acknowledge that we're all at different places in life. Take a moment to check in with that person and practice mindful listening as they share. So this compassion and this mindful listening, this is really going to cleanse you of this annoyance feeling. And with this be the panda, we are each unique among billions. What are your distinct traits and experiences? Practice releasing the need to prove yourself to others through accomplishments. Imagine a panda bear. Did that panda earn a PhD? No, but we still appreciate pandas because they are unique. This is a metaphor for your self-worth. It's not dependent on anything but your individuality. Your mere existence is a cause for celebration. That is so cute. Oh my gosh. And I just realized, you guys, I chose the panda for pile 2. And in this series, the panda is like the main character. So that's interesting. A lot of times these tarot readings are like a timeline whereby the first pile is like the earliest phase of that timeline, and the last pile is like the later phase of that timeline. Not all the time, but sometimes. So I'm also getting like you may be craving particular things that you're trying to rid yourself of. And there's a temptation to allow this craving back in to soothe like your pains. Because, as we said earlier, you may feel without any effort right now, you may feel a sense of helplessness or a sense of annoyance and irritation. And it's going to take effort then to feel, joy, to feel lighthearted. Let me actually flip these over so you can see. Okay, yeah. So, careless just fell on the floor. Okay, Spirit's like wanting you to not be careless with your efforts right now because you are feeling helpless. Like, don't give up. Essentially what I was going to say though earlier is you may have things that are like from your past that you've let go of for the betterment of yourself. You have things that you have rid yourself of, but in this state of not feeling your best, they're re-tempting you to try and soothe you. Okay, so Spirit's wanting you to not be mindless at this time, to make sure you have your wits about you, I'm hearing, because you're kind of on the fast track right now, even though you may not feel like it. Okay, and those things that you've let go of, they can really slow you down. They can really slow you down. I wanted to see if anything else wanted to come out of this emotions deck for us real fast. Okay, woo. We have routine, experiments, and anticipation. Feeling excited for something to occur in the future, routine experiments. Let's see what this says. Choose a well-worn routine like your morning habits or a grocery list. Design an experiment for a new way to approach this old routine. Generate at least 5 to 10 different ideas before you decide on which changes you might try. Did you hear yourself editing out an idea? Explore all possibilities without judgment or editing. Try a few different ideas so you can reflect on the best approach after your experiments are complete. Sometimes trial and error is better than a flawless plan. So you can leave this reading today with anticipation, okay? And you don't have, I'm getting like Spirit's really just wanting you to rest, but just know you don't need to focus on, okay, and this, on the bottom of the deck we have lively. This is actually the 2 bottom of the deck energies. Okay, and I think it's no coincidence that this is in the left hand and this is in the right. It's like this is the past. This is the future. Okay. You have things that, yes, can irritate you, can annoy you, can make you feel helpless, but Spirit's not wanting you to focus on that at all. Let's get some tarot about this situation. What is going on for pile 1? So, yeah, in the past, currently too, in the past especially though, okay, because you're leaving this, behind. You've avoided conflict in the past, and it's left you with, this lack mindset. You thought avoiding conflict in the past was what was going to lead you to, your blissful, you're due to have bliss. You know that. Your energy knows that. Your soul knows that. You're due for peace. And you thought at one point that just avoiding conflict outright was what was going to get you there. But what you realize is that just, basically left all the conflict on you. And it left it unresolved, okay? It didn't go away. That situation left you in a lack mindset though, okay, which is the annoyance and the helpless. That's lack mindset, okay? It made you feel insecure, that you have things you need that you can't afford or acquire. Remember not to focus on this. Okay, focus on what you're creating. You have to embody courage at this moment, but stay grounded, okay? Lead with your heart. And at this moment, you're being asked to think about yourself. Think about yourself and your needs, okay? And this blissful moment that you're wanting to deliver to you, I'm getting you also want to deliver to others. and they'll be able to ride in on your cape. But you need to secure this first. And it's like, but in a previous era, you may have been given others a space more than they should have had to secure this for you because you had trust. It's not that you don't have trust. It's just that you are more experienced now, and you know that, if you really want bliss, if you really want happiness, no one can better provide these things for you than you. That's what you're realizing. And before, you may have trusted others to outright provide it for you instead of, I'm getting like, you may have not looked to yourself at all really in the past, even though, like, it's like you were looking outward at everybody else and everybody else was looking to you. But in that mode of existence, I'm just getting like you got like, I'm hearing like usurped. I'm not exactly sure what that word means, but it's like you felt used, like after you came to. Okay, after you realize like the reality of the energy exchange between you and these other parties, like you felt taken for granted. I'm getting to like your path has felt very like trippy and unusual. You may feel like you were like initiated into this lifetime and like people don't see them, but you bear like warrior wounds on your soul. I'm getting like there's this tribe, I forget where it was at. It may have been Madagascar, but I can't remember. But it was this tribe that I had seen a video of on YouTube recently, and it was actually on the More Best Ever Food Review Show, I think it's called. It's a super long title, so I'm not sure. But this food guy, Sonny, went and ate with this tribe, and this tribe, I think it was at 16 or 17, the warriors, only the men in this culture would, I guess, cut. I forget how they said they do it modernly, but back in the day it was done with bamboo. They would carve these scars into their skin, and they were called like the alligator tribe because their skin would resemble the alligators in their area, and they were really reliant on these alligators. And like they had explained that carving this pattern into their skin and eating the alligator and all this, it was like, giving them the power of the alligator. I forget entirely why I went into that. Oh, I remember now. You have like, warrior wounds on your soul. You have been through, I'm hearing like an immense amount of suffering when it comes to the heart. Like, my goodness. But what this is actually leading you to, okay, because all of this is with purpose in the end, okay? It may not feel like it at the time. It may just feel like pain. And right now, it may just feel like almost like a purgatory of sorts, where you're like, you feel directionless, and also you don't feel like there's movement happening. But I assure you, I can see and feel what's coming to you, and it's like literally, I hear it like clicking, like, but it's on like a, like, like how bike gears make that like ticking sound when they're like changing on, I can't think of the word, like the metal track that's on the gears, that makes a ticking sound whenever it changes gears. I hear like, what's due and coming for you. It's actually like sped up. You're being led into a moment though where you have like clearer thinking. Like something before wasn't serving you, and you needed to achieve this clarity of thought for your next leg of the journey. Yes. This may have been especially hurtful because you overinflated. I'm hearing like you idolized those that you love, and it led to like a deep amount of pain when, I'm just hearing like they didn't shape up to what was imprinted upon you. I don't know why it's coming out like that. It's like something, they didn't shape up to what was imprinted upon you, and that led to like a deep disappointment, like a heartbreaking disappointment. But I'm just hearing like the scales are balancing and in your favor. The scales are balancing and in your favor. This time is sacred for you, okay? And I'm being reminded of like when a snake sheds its skin, okay, it often goes into like a den, a cold, dark den where it can shed in peace, and it's because it's ultra vulnerable during that time. And like even if a mouse comes into this den, it will hiss it out. Like even something that is easily prey, it doesn't want to mess with. It doesn't eat. I don't think it eats, period. But like even if something that's obvious prey comes into this den, it doesn't eat it. Its only focus is on shedding this skin. Okay? And it's like an ultra vulnerable state where even like something that the snake maybe doesn't have to worry about is worried about now because it's a little bit more sensitive than usual. I'm hearing like Kundalini rising. And it's like you are actualizing. You have uncoiled the snake and you're riding that coil up, okay? And you will arrive to the crown where you realize and are able to actualize through your efforts like a true vision of yourself. I want to see if anything else wants to come out before we leave. And we have Knight of Pentacles as well. If you notice like Knight of Pentacles, what's coming in really fast right now is your heart healing, okay? So focus on your mindset and like the thoughts that you're having. Make sure to dispel anything that isn't serving you. And then when it comes to like, your vision of what's coming down the pipe for you, take notice to this horse's stance, okay? It's fully planted. So right now you're going to feel like things aren't moving. That's how you're going to feel. But that isn't the case energetically, okay? Things are on their way to arrive to you. Love being one of them. Oh, and just as I say that, wow. King of Cups, Eight of Cups. You're having to connect with yourself in a higher sense at this time, okay? So you're going to arrive in a place that's better than you've ever been before. On the bottom of the deck, we have Hanged Man energy. The whole point of where you're at is to rest, relax, recuperate. All right, pile one. We are going to leave that where it is, and it's 33 on my timer. 33 minutes, I mean. I'm hearing like Ascended Master 33, although I don't exactly know what that is. But I hope this was very helpful for you. If it was, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And if you feel called to, definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you're a little shy or you don't know what to say, leave a crescent moon or a water drop emoji in the comments. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Bye for now. Hello, Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. We're going to just jump into it. So what is going on for you, Pile 2? Okay, we have a mixed amount of emotions here. We have affluent, courageous, terrified. The terrified is actually making me giggle a little bit. Like, what is this doing here? I'm getting like you may be terrified of what's to come, but maybe in some way, I'm getting like this is an old you. Okay. But let's see what's on the back of these. Affluent and courageous are both proud emotions. Terrified is a fear emotion. Affluent is a pleasant sense of confidence that comes with a secure situation. Courageous is a feeling of confidence, not afraid or easily intimidated, but without being incautious or inconsiderate. Okay. I'm getting like at this time you may be feeling quite excited for something, but there's like an old mindset, an old lack mindset that's wanting to equate this excitement to like fear or nervousness. So just keep telling yourself like, no, it's not fear, it's excitement. I'm not scared of what's to come. I'm excited for what's to come. I just sneezed twice and I have been yawning all morning. I'm about to do it again. So we have coming out for you. Try something new. Sometimes we can't see how our habits might be getting in the way of solving problems. Make a list of 10 different new things you can try. Here are some starter ideas. Try a new cuisine, learn a new skill, listen to an opposing viewpoint, read, take an online course, attend a workshop, or research topics that pique your interest. As you get more familiar with the unfamiliar, new perspectives can arise. So I think you are trying something new. You may want to, with this energy that you have, you may also be interested in trying new things. But I get you're purpose driven, okay? And so you are already on your way to trying something new. That's why it's taken all this courageousness, all this pride in yourself. And it definitely has been a pride in self. Okay, you've had to return to your roots, I'm hearing, and like coddle that inner you. This era is all about you. It's taking you, it's definitely taking courage. It's interesting because it's taking courage for you to reconnect with and revitalize your sense of self and your purity, even though it's always been there. It's just your sense of self I'm getting was dormant. This time is about you being, arriving at a grounded emotional intelligence, a wisdom of the heart, a security of self. It's like you've returned back to your nature in some sense. Okay, and I'm getting like your nature is like heavily in tune with Mother Nature. So I'm getting someone that's like, you may enjoy walking barefoot outside and being exposed to the elements. You may enjoy this is interesting because I was actually going to say swimming, but for some reason it was particularly coming up like not necessarily all water, which is interesting, but it's like, I was getting, this is interesting. I was getting like the feeling of not wanting to take a shower because it's reminding me of my cats actually. Like when I bathe my cats, and I've had this mood myself, even recently, but I had it especially as a child, but more so now when I see it is like with my cats. And it's like the feeling of not wanting to take a shower because your hair is going to be all wet and you're going to be damp and like you'd rather just like run around. That's the feeling I'm getting. You're returning to your nature like without regard to any it's like I can't think of the word, but it's like there's no like guardrails, there may have been limits imposed upon like your expressions in the past, and now it's limitless. It's limitless, and the reason it's limitless is because you're consciously connecting to your purity. Before you knew you were pure, but it's like you were scared that having a boundary, for example, would tamper that purity. You've learned the hard way that a boundary is actually what will protect your purity and your sense of self. When you don't have boundaries, you lose, you can lose, not you will lose, but I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of figures you're around. But the chances of you without boundaries just going through life and not being changed by life is very slim to none. So you had to realize that boundaries were crucial, critical, and like required really for you to survive as you are. You had to get to the point where you trust yourself more than anybody else, because there may have been times in your life in the past when you trusted others more than yourself, or maybe a particular person or a particular group of people, or you looked outwardly for answers more in the past. And now you don't do that. You've connected to your intuition. You have a high degree of sensitivity, and you have very high morals. You realize like what you have that has to be guarded, not just you, but what you embody. And I think that like lit the fire beneath you to act more protectively, because it's like it wasn't just about you in that sense, even though it is about you, but it's like externalizing these qualities of yourself helps you realize like what you meant to you. And as time goes on, you'll connect more to yourself in an internal sense without externalizing your qualities. I'm getting to, like, you had to let go of things that had sort of, like, run their course. There wasn't anything more for you to get from it. You had gotten everything you could from it, and I was going to say it had gotten everything it could of you, but that wasn't really the point of this. And there wasn't really anything that it was supposed to be getting from you. That's also what I'm getting. But there were things that you were meant to get from this situation. So, it's just coming through that, like, that was the nature of the situation, and beyond, like, it just is what it is. It's the nature of the situation, meaning it was what was intended to happen. You have gained like some amount of sustenance from what you've been through. You're in a warmer place now. It was colder then, okay? You are warmer now. Like, you're in a new place. You're not in the same place you were before, okay? 919 on my timer has to say that. But you're not totally where you're going, okay? You're not like in the hot zone, which is, in this analogy, if cold is like the worst the scenario and where you were in need, hot would be like the best of the scenario. You have no needs. All your needs are being met. You're in the warm zone, okay? Meaning, not only are you transitioning, but you are in a better place than you were, okay? Because you're no longer cold. You're out of like the winter storm is what I'm hearing. And as I said that, it was 10:01 on my timer. It's like your dreams are being mirrored back to you by the universe right now, okay? You are like actively engaging in manifesting your fate into your reality. Life isn't just happening to you anymore. Like, you are interacting with and co-creating your reality. Although sometimes this effort of yours, because you did have to take control and turn things, like things that have turned in your favor, okay? And I'm getting like that took an active amount of effort on your part. And sometimes because of that effort that you expend outwardly, we forget that it's like, you remember all the things that you've been through in the past, and like how you were, everything ultimately got you to the point where you are now, which is like the perfect point. And, basically what I'm trying to get at is, because when we get to the point to where we're actively co-creating, sometimes we forget like that we can take a breather, because like the divine has made their divination. You know what I mean? Like fate has been fought. It's like you don't have to fight for your fate. Okay, you were engaged in it and like pushed, and I'm hearing thrown to the wolves in a way that made you think you had to fight for your fate. And you did have to activate like this pathway for yourself, but that was all by nature. The pathway was you coming into a clarity of mind and a clarity of heart, okay? It's like you had to go through what you went through to get to that point. And then that point was going to activate you into your action, which is like you are making conscious choice. You know, basically, that was all divine that it happened. And it was all necessary. Right now, too, okay, because this is like the main character in this series. I just had to clear my throat there. 12:53 on my timer as I say that. And, you know, I'm just getting like, you had to deconstruct. At first, it felt like you were alone in this world, okay? But you didn't realize that. You thought you had community. You had to change that perspective, though, and you had to alter that reality of yours to get to your real truth, which is balance upon yourself without having to seek others out to complete you. You know, you're complete upon yourself. And this is only going to deepen like your connection to those that are in your life. I feel like before you felt you had to give really all of yourself away, and now you're realizing your relationships will be even better if you nourish yourself and retain, you know, like protect yourself really, rather than sacrificing self, giving pieces of yourself away. You know, I think if you continue down that path without any change, you would have gotten to a point where you were like resentful of those that you were helping because they don't have the capacity. You know, I'm just getting, you have a very deep capacity. You have a very deep capacity for compassion, but you weren't getting that in return. So it's like everyone around you was overflowing more than they could absorb with what you were giving. And it's like you were kind of lacking, and no one had the capacity to give that back to you. So it's important now for you. You have the ability to fulfill the capacity that you carry with you. You had to really listen to yourself to build this courageousness up. Like it, because before you were listening to others, and maybe throughout the years, people had told you in various ways not to listen to yourself, or it's like, I'm just getting to, okay, I just yawned again. It's like, I'm getting, you feel like energetically pregnant, essentially. Okay. You're carrying like a sacred, divinely protected child in your energy field, okay? This can just be like whatever it is that you're creating. It's supported by the divine. You're led by your heart and a clear mind right now, purity of heart and purity of mind, and you're highly devoted to self and spirit. You're especially devoted to spirit. Like, you used to look to others, and it's interesting because you still do look outside of yourself, but now you look to the divine instead of humans. I mean, you still look to humans, but you don't rest all of your self-assurance in others. It's between you and spirit now. And on the bottom of the deck, okay, we have Ace of Cups coming out. Spirit's like, I'm hearing them like over and over again. They call you baby. And, you know, I'm seeing you like in a hand like this. It's like you fit in a hand. You fit in their hand. You know, in this realm, you can be so much softer on yourself, because how spirit sees you is that you're this, you know how like a kitten can sometimes fit inside of your palm. It's like, that's how you fit in the palm of Spirit. And they're like looking at you and all your innocence and all your cuteness. And then it's like, if that kitten was being hard on itself, you know, you wouldn't wish that on anything. You wouldn't wish that kitten to be hard on itself. It's wanting, you know, Spirit's wanting you to like step back and realize, like, in all your softness, that you deserve self-compassion. Yes, you've been through a lot, and yes, you have, you know, you may feel like you need to be more serious than ever, especially in like achieving your goals. But, you know, give yourself compassion, give yourself softness, show yourself love. It's okay to rest. You know, you are on the right path, and it's a magical one, and it's meant for just you. And everything that you love that's meant for you is going to come along with you on this way. Like, there's really nothing to fear. You're going to be in a place where, you know, I'm definitely getting, you're someone who loves to make people feel comfortable and cared for. Right now is your season of feeling that way. And you're on the brink of something like phenomenal for you, because what you will achieve after you fulfill yourself, okay, it's going to take time. And the effort is you need to be present. Okay, that's really what I'm getting the effort is. It's like, if you're a no-show to class, there's not homework in this class, okay? It's like, you really just have to show up. But if you don't show up, then you don't even get the grade. It's like, you're going to get the grade, but you just have to show up. That's all this class is asking you to do. But once you fulfill yourself, you're going to be able to give to others in ways that are honestly going to blow your mind. It's going to be much beyond the capacity of what you've done before, even though before you were giving your all. And my gosh, you are incredibly, like, you're a cherub for that. You're an angel, an earth angel. The capacity at which you're able to give, though, with this new sense of emotional maturity and just overall maturity, okay? You've matured through these trials and tribulations, I'm hearing. You're going to be able to share, care, give love and support, and even receive in ways you've never been able to before. This is going to be like I'm just hearing like your bubble bath era, okay? It's an era of stability, security. I just heard too, conjunction, junction, what's your function? And I was literally just talking about that song the other day with a friend, and I forget if it was that or something similar, but it was like, we were talking about contractions and conjunctions. And at first, I mistook the conjunction for a contraction. A contraction shortens two words together. A conjunction brings two things together, not necessarily shortening them, but it brings two things together. So a contraction is an apostrophe. A conjunction, I believe, is a comma. You may feel like, you know, where's my shortening era? I clipped off these things that don't belong. Where's the next era? But what you're actually in is the conjunction, not the contraction. You're joining two things together. So it's like, you know, just in the ways that you are looking to your past right now. Like, I can imagine even in your childhood, there are memories that are painful and harmful. But you look to your childhood to find pieces of yourself. And it's just in that very same way that you're not exactly clipping off the past in full. That old you is still within you. It's just not who you're becoming, okay? And there's a saying that's really relevant that I feel, and it's, you're not who you were, but you are who you're becoming. And it's like that statement is more of a circle than it is a straight line. You know, it's the spiral that we always talk about in spirituality. And you're spiraling up. You know, don't worry about spiraling down. That's certainly not what's happening here. You're spiraling up. But you're in a phase where you're in the conjunction phase, you know. It's like you're on the bridge. Like I said, you're not cold, but you're also not hot yet. You're warm, which is good, because before you were like cold, and at one point you were freezing. I just heard like left for dead. Okay, you may have left like a lot of abusive relationships behind, connections to people and things, places, maybe even. You know, you had to realize like what was for you and what wasn't for you, and everything that wasn't for you had to change in some way. It had to change to either become for you, or there was no chance for it in your life, essentially. You know, I'm getting like you require that things adapt with you, because you are highly adaptive, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. You know, if anything, this is like the beginning of a journey for you that's going to be very long. I'm just hearing like lifelong journey. It's like this is the first thing you had to do, though, to get onto that path, was achieve a clarity of heart and mind. Before, it's like there was a muddiness to it. Ooh, I love that, actually, because lotus flowers are born of the mud, and you are certainly like you know, you're blooming into your lotus flower, and you certainly come from the mud. Okay, you have muddy backgrounds, and those, you know, that muddy background, it muddied. And let me explain. It muddied your heart, it muddied your mind. And what I mean by that is not that it tainted it, but that it caused like a cloudiness and a confusion. You've achieved clarity, though. Okay, you've achieved clarity through hard work. You've made a routine for yourself. You've committed to a sense of responsibility. This is going to pay off in the end, okay? You didn't just focus on the conflict of the matter. So you have a lot of illusion, or like a lot of illusions. That's not what I meant to say. You have a lot of choices, and some of them are illusions. Not all. Okay, like if we have 7 cups here, 2 of them are illusions. It's like, you know very clearly, though, at this point I'm getting, especially because you have connected very deeply with your sense of self, and therefore your intuition, and also spirit. Like, when you don't have the answer, spirit has the answer, and you know how to connect with him. You're finding ways, in the ways that you don't know how to connect, you find ways, and you're learning. So I'm getting there's like one main choice that you have, but it's like unrevealed yet. And this is the course. I didn't mean to say that. This is the choice that it's taking courage to step up to. Like, you don't know what is to come in this path, but it's the most alluring path to you. That's really exciting. We have coming out here the Star. This is certainly you. And I love this card making an appearance with this Littlest Pet Shop. You know, this is the main character in the series. You are certainly the main character in your life. You realizing this is what's going to get you to the point of being able to give And then it's like, it's just going to feed back into itself. It's like you being able to give is just going to reaffirm you as the star. You as the star is going to reaffirm your ability to give. Like, it's just going to keep feeding into itself in like the most positive way possible. Let's see if we have any final words from Spirit before we leave out on this message for today. We did have Knight of Wands, like, wanting to make an appearance, but it didn't pop out. I'm not going to keep it. We'll go over this, okay? Energy, passionate, inspired action, adventure, fearlessness, and impulsiveness. You know, you are acting with passion. You act on inspired action at the moment. All right, you're thinking about the future for yourself. It's taking hard work, and it will be hard work to get there, but hard work, I'm getting more than anything, is it's the time commitment. It's persistence. The hard work is not giving up. The hard work is not letting go of the vision. Remaining diligent in like your march forward. The Spirit's wanting you to always remember what it is that you're working towards, and even more than that, what it is that you're, you know, not in like a lack mindset, but remember why you're doing this. What made you do this? I think that will motivate you, especially when you're kind of maybe losing sight or asking why, like, why am I really messing with this, or what am I doing? Like, I get sometimes that you may just like run into this feeling of not necessarily apathy, but it's like suddenly your passion for this path has left you. And I think really what it is it's like, I'm just hearing it's like entropy of the heart, kind of, but it's like you've been on a path for so long, or you've expected something and know where something is going. Like, for example, you know something really big is going to happen in some area. Like, because of that, but because of it not happening yet, you may feel like boredom of the heart, boredom of the mind. And in those moments, you know, Spirit's wanting you to remember, like, why you're doing this. Because I think in an instant, you will become re-motivated and, like, re-realize, oh, yeah. There's nothing really, there's no reason not to do this actually for me. This is like exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, exactly when and exactly where. Pile 2, I'm going to leave your messages off there for today. Before I do though, let's see, what emotion does Spirit want you to focus on going forward? Okay, we have the positivity challenge, well-regulated empathy, hilarious, applauding, and cheeky. Spirit is wanting you to, I'm hearing, have a laugh. That's actually like a British thing to say though. I wouldn't say that, so that's kind of funny. Maybe you enjoy watching British television and like film and that. On the positivity challenge, this card reads, we have the power to choose our thoughts. Shift your focus to the present moment. Identify and acknowledge your current mindset. To do that, acknowledge your challenges without dwelling on negativity. Think through how these challenges might bring new learnings or present opportunities that you currently can't see. Whether it's a career aspiration, a personal project, or a relationship, imagine a positive future. Yes, pile 2. With well-regulated empathy, this reads, practicing mindful empathy can help you to respond to others' emotions without becoming overwhelmed yourself. As you become more aware of your own emotions, it's easier to stay grounded in your own experience while holding space for another. Picture yourself surrounded by a warm light when others are having an emotional experience. Imagine that your emotions are protected and the emotions of others are there for you to notice but not take on yourself. Wow, this is excellent, pile 2. So we have hilarious, applauding, cheeky. All of these are humor cards. You're being asked to have humor. Focus on, watch a funny movie. Watch things that make you laugh. Share jokes with friends. Or, anything that lifts your spirits. That's what you're being asked to do right now. Particularly lifting your spirits into laughter. Cheeky, feeling impertinently bold, often in a way that is regarded as endearing or amusing. Applauding, praising or expressing the utmost approval for something or someone. Hilarious, something or someone is very funny and causing great merriment and laughter. I think that's a typo. Something or someone is very funny and causing you great merriment and laughter. What was so hilarious? What are you applauding? What has you feeling cheeky? You need to find these things. Pile 2, we are going to leave your reading off here for today. I hope that was incredibly helpful and informative. If it was, don't forget to leave a like, your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're a little shy or you don't know what to say, let's leave a star emoji or a smirk emoji in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe so I can see you on the next one. Bye for now, and thank you so much for being here and for watching. Hello, Pile 3, and welcome to your reading where we are asking what is going on. Before I even pull any cards for you, I'm getting like you are taking care of yourself and being taken care of. You are pampered, not spoiled, but pampered. And you're getting pretty much all that you want right now and could wish for. I wanted to pull some cards to see what are you feeling at the moment. Okay, so we have cynical, accepting what it is, and caring showing up, okay? And I'm not going to focus too much on this cynical, accepting what it is. Feeling skeptical of the integrity, sincerity, or motives of others. Sometimes life is hard, sometimes it's amazing, and sometimes it's boring. Is there a situation in your life right now that you wish were different? Notice your desires and write them down. Then list the parts of the situation that are within your control and the parts that you can't control. For the parts that you can't control, write simple statement of fact. This thing or person is blank. Then fact check yourself. Are those statements really true? Within my control, outside of my control, accepting what it is. Okay, you have a rocky past is what I'm hearing, but you've reached a point, okay, where you care. I'm hearing forgiveness, some sense of forgiveness, a feeling of forgiveness. When you feel kind, sensitive, or empathetic towards another, it's like you had to look past the pains that others caused you so that you could heal them, so that you could heal you together, is what I'm hearing. You are in an era of play. Okay, you're pioneering, victorious, triumphant. All right, when it comes to this offended, blaming, and smug. So you were at once, you felt insulted. You felt like it wasn't your fault. And you felt like very righteous in this matter where you were offended, blaming the other, like you felt like you were righteous. Ooh, okay, so I'm getting like that would have been very hard to let go of because you felt like you were wronged and you felt like your position was justified. I'm hearing there was really no resolve on that outside of like what you offered yourself. You pioneering and you taking a sense of control over your life has led to you feeling victorious and triumphant. You celebrate victory at this point. Like I said, you are very pampered. You're getting what you want in this moment, all that you could wish for, really. Is it what you thought you wished for, like, before this happened? No, I'm getting it's different. You may be relearning at this time how to incorporate play into your life. You may have been taking like life a bit too seriously in the past, and now you're like reacclimating yourself to the pleasures of play. I'm getting. So we have liking and intrigued. Both of these are interest of another. I think you used to pour your heart into people, and now you're pouring them into your passions. You are definitely like, you are ogling. You know, I'm looking at this face here. It's like you're that way about play. It's like you are highly intrigued, and also your bottom of the deck energy. You know, you're also a bit curious in a way that it's like you have things to learn. The whole world is your playground, okay? Spirit's wanting you to know, like, you have free access and free reign. So we have coming out here 2 of Pentacles, okay? This has been you realizing, like, I get in the past that work was maybe all... I meant to say life was all work. That's funny that I just said work for life. I think that's just confirmation. You know, there was an era before now for you where it's like the only thing you did was work. If you weren't working and being productive, you didn't see the point in it. And you're seeing the point and the productivity in play now. Like, you're seeing the purpose of playing. You know, I think if all we did was work, I don't even want to imagine. I too am not in that space. I recently, I'll just share this with you guys because I've been trying to like reacclimate myself to play too. And I've been okay with like literally just playing with my toys. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I am literally so okay with that. I don't know why. But like role playing with my toys is fine. And I haven't done that, but I was like, maybe I just do that because that's what I used to do, and I can't really think of anything. But recently, a friend of mine, like a really dear friend, got a Zen garden. I've been tearing that thing up in a good way. It's like literally is so fun, and you can get all kinds of little miniatures to put in it. And I don't think about anything when I'm doing the Zen garden. I just, you know, I zone out, and I'm flattening the sand and then putting designs in the sand and then decorating, and it's super peaceful, and like it is definitely playing. I realized after I interacted with that it was just what I needed. But you know, I'm getting, there's some play that you need to incorporate in your life, and you're learning how to do that if you haven't already. Right now, you are in the, wow. I'm just going to say it how I'm hearing it, but it's like it's taken a lot of magic to make this moment happen for you. Like, this very moment, it's taken a lot of magic for it to happen, in like, not a miraculous sense necessarily. It's all magic that you've done, and magic that has been done on part of you by the universe, like in support of you. But it's like, a lot of magic has had to happen for you to get to where you're at, okay? It wasn't just like life happening to you and, you know, your energy has been an active component of this, whether or not you were in a passive state, or like you've never been dormant is what I'm getting. Every part of this has been with purpose. And you're realizing even the part where you solely devoted yourself to work was with purpose. Yes, you drove your achievements up during that time, and you know, you learned stuff during that time. Now you're learning to balance, and you wouldn't have this balance lesson to learn if, you know, you didn't solely commit yourself to that thing in that way. I mean, it could have came about in other ways, but it came about in that way, and like that was all with purpose. So just remember, if you're not giving yourself, to give yourself compassion, self-compassion for like where you come from and the places that brought you to your position at this present moment. In matters to this situation, you know, you're doing your best to see things different than before, to let go of things that don't serve you. And I'm hearing like surrender to the Most High. Like, I think you, in any way that you haven't already, just surrender your problems to, you know, Spirit, really. What you can't control, it isn't yours to concern yourself with. But you had things that you wanted to change, and I think what that change was more than anything else was you had things to release. Right now, in this in-between phase, okay, you are a very caring individual. These are like, I'm just hearing like deeply ingrained reactions. It affected you. This hanged man time, you know, where you are in a time of pause. It's really so that you can more fully let go of. It's so you can more fully meet a forgiveness within yourself. Okay, because we have the Death card here. Like, an ending has been had. In a beginning, you're entering, like, you know, the beginning of a new era. Key word on this Death card that's really sticking out to me. It's a Scorpio. Scorpio, water, and 13 are associations with this. 13 is widely recognized as like an unlucky number. But 13, when you add up 1 and 3, is 4, which is like the number of stability and like the Taurian qualities, okay, like stabilizing yourself and the world around you. The key word that's sticking out to me here, though, is metamorphosis. And it's making me think of a monarch butterfly that I saw recently. And my friend informed me, they were telling me that they wish that to see a monarch butterfly themselves because they're in migration right now, which I was unaware of. I've always seen butterflies throughout my whole life. Like, they've been something that's always been attached to me. People have always gifted me butterfly items. It's one of those things at this point where I'm like, I can't even remember if this was my original interest or if everybody has just always associated this with me. But I do believe at one point very early in my life, I was obsessed with butterflies, but it's the symbolism of butterflies has become so diluted over time. I can't place like the originality of that passion, honestly. And but anyways, like, these monarch butterflies are migrating right now, apparently, like across the continent. And I feel like that's relevant to your energy. And also, I'm just being reminded of a way that I heard this saying recently that was really impactful. And we have 10 of Cups coming out too. I'll talk about that here in a moment. But it's like the caterpillar has to die for the butterfly to emerge. You know, it's not that the caterpillar is dying. It's like the caterpillar, just when the caterpillar thinks it's dying, it becomes a beautiful butterfly. Okay, so it's like something very painful may have ended in the past. And like, it may have been like the death of a worldview, essentially. Like, world crumbled when this came apart. Okay, your world crumbled. But what we are reaching for and achieving here is this 10 of Cups energy, okay? This is like your happy ever after. This is like your wish come true in a good way. It's all that you could wish for being delivered to you, okay? And you've done the due diligence to, like, have this package arrive at your doorstep. And I literally see you, like, ripping the gift wrap off and, like, throwing the ribbon, like, open. You're like untying a bow really like quickly. This is already yours. You're just not to the point yet where you're inside of the box, like looking at what's inside. But you're holding the box. You're like feverishly tearing the gift wrap open. It's like inside the gift wrap though, it's just a plain brown box on the outside. So you still have no idea what this amazing gift is that's on your doorstep. You're so excited. This time for you, okay, I'm just hearing like you've had to stave off. I don't really use that word. I'm not totally sure what that means, but it's like, I'm also hearing like you had to like starve off. It's like you had to starve off entities that were undervaluing what you had to offer. You may find, like, surprisingly, that they have no issues valuing you properly now that you've cut them off. But you're not interested in the things that you were in the same way as you were in the past. Right now, Spirit's wanting you to just be a loyal devotee, like, to yourself and to Spirit. Literally. This time is all about you, but, you know, they're not wanting you to feel pressured to take a bunch of action. You can actually, it's all about you. You know, yellow is the color of the sun, and the sun is the sign of, you know, our sun sign, our ego. This air is all about you, but like even so, you're able to rest, connect to self, and connect to Spirit. That's really what this time is about, okay? So like, you know, this time you may think it does feel a little bit slow, but like it's supposed to, I'm hearing. And you know, they're really wanting you to soften and luxuriate in this feeling. Okay, soften and luxuriate. I'm hearing like too, like you are a child of the universe. Spirit sees you like that, and they are mothering and fathering you accordingly. Okay, they are here in like every sense of like the word support. They surround you. You don't have to feel so alone anymore. And I don't get the sense that you do, but just as confirmation. Spirit's wanting you to know, like, you know, this your focus on you. It's not only going to be what repositions you on like a rightful pedestal within your life. You were there before, but it's like you were there in a way that was like, it's like you were a candy dispenser, and now you're like an item underneath a glass at a museum. Like, both times, people really wanted what was in there. But people may have been undervaluing, like, the bubblegum dispenser. Even though they kept coming back. They would come back even after, if it was upset, they would be upset if it was empty, for example, okay? Like, you're very, like, tempting and pleasing and satisfying. In all stages of you, that was true and remains to be true. But it's like your value just increases exponentially the more you connect to yourself. So your focus on self will position you on a pedestal rightfully, but it's also like the doorway that you will walk through to get into this place where you like solidify. I was trying to think of a word, but like the word I'm trying to think of is, it's like this, you focusing on self is going to be the doorway, the passageway to sanctify self. Okay. Also, I'm hearing like there's no turning back, and I'm also hearing no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Everything that people, you know, send your way, you alchemize into power. You alchemize pain into power. You really have left a fear mindset completely behind. You don't fear anything anymore. I think even in spaces where you may have been scared in the past, like entering a dark basement, for example, you may have been scared about entities or energies that linger down there, but like now you command confidence from others onto yourself. You command respect. And it's not in a way that's like dictator-ish, because what I'm actually getting here is just you acknowledging those needs within yourself and then supplying that to yourself. It makes people realize that they aren't really going to have space in your life unless they also acknowledge you up to that level. I'm just hearing too, okay, we have the Hermit here. It's like you had to search for like what was at the root of all this, what mattered most to you. And after you found that truth, okay, it led you forward. It gave you direction. It gave you strength. And it like literally, it seems like out of nowhere, gave you a newfound sense of willpower. You've made a defined amount of progress, and it took like self-control then, and it continues to take self-control, but less and less so as you march forward on this path. And you know, Spirit's wanting you to know more than anything, okay? This keeps coming up, like, really rest. Okay, we have the Hanged Man, the Hermit, the Chariot, the person sitting on, like, you know, a platform. In this image, the person's resting in, like, prayer hands. Okay, a lot of your images have to do with rest, okay? And I'm just hearing, like, it's like a divine position right now in dew that you luxuriate in this place where you are. Okay, you're being taken care of, and it's because, like, old orders, I'm hearing like old crowns have fallen, but it's like old orders of ways, old orders of existence have crumbled, and rightfully so, but it took that for you to get to this place. So I want to see if Spirit has any final messages. Spirit's wanting you to focus in your life on the magic you've made and the magic you're making. And they also want to say to continue to be charitable onto yourself and onto others. You know, consider others as much as you consider yourself. You're not in the same place as you were before, where considering others was a sacrificial thing to do. You've created boundaries, and you're much more protected spiritually than you were before. So, I mean, the connections that you make with this heart space, you thought your heart space before was pure. It's even purer now. You've purified it of impurities that were lingering in your pure heart space. But because you've had, and these impurities were like environmental impurities, okay? And you have consciously purified your heart. The connections that you've made, that you will make now, are going to be even deeper, even greater than any connection you've made in the past. I'm just hearing like this is like your lucky era. And also it's an era for you to focus on your health and the health of your life. And Spirit's wanting you to know, like, it's okay to nap. It's okay to rest. Okay? They're wanting you to rest. They're wanting you to nap. You don't have to work so hard. That's what they want you to know. You do not have to work so hard. You know, you're trying to connect with play, and rightfully so, but also remember to, like, you know, rest. Rest. You've put in a lot of hard work. Okay? You can see, like, some reward of your work already. You're not even there yet. You don't have to rush, and you don't have to worry so much. This, you know, any mindset of you like having to starve off like energies and entities and, you know, avoid this, avoid that. You've overpowered and overcome all of that. You don't have to have a fearful mindset about what it is to come that you have to dodge. I wanted to see what emotions going forward the Spirit wants you to focus on. This is interesting. So we have the mind map and intelligent. The feeling of being extremely knowledgeable. Are you experiencing a strong ability to analyze and solve problems effectively and efficiently? Do you find it fulfilling to engage in intellectual conversations or debates that stimulate your thinking? Have you noticed a pattern of easily grasping new information and being able to apply it in practical and meaningful ways? What makes you feel intelligent? On the mind map, we have write down the central problem in the center of the page and circle it. What do you think of next? Write it down, circle it, and connect it to the center with a line. Continue bubbling up concepts by noticing your next thought, idea, or question and writing down each one, connecting it to the previous one. After you've run out of thoughts, you can revisit the mind map as a whole and look for new insights. This is a nifty technique to help see the full complexity of a problem. So if there are lingering emotions I'm hearing from your past, this is like an especially useful tool, I think, in silencing those repeating thought patterns. So I'm getting in the past, okay, you dealt with figures. Oh, man. It may have just been one in particular, but in general, you dealt with figures that were ruthless, coercive, greedy, jealous, and you had a fear of them acting vengefully should you, like, protect yourself. I think you're past the point of being, like, that as a realization for them not being a good fit for you. Like, if I can't protect myself from danger, even including when that's you, if you find that offensive, we're not a good match. You know, I'm getting like you grew a date. That's interesting. You grew a great deal of self-respect. Okay, you can like find these situations in the past to be amusing, that they would even try. But I think you're also past the point of being amused by something so negative. I think being amused was just a part of your healing process. Yes, because in reality, we have sorrowful and bummed. Feeling gloomy and disappointed about something, feeling heavy-hearted and deeply unhappy, often because of a loss or disappointment. You know, this is the thing that you had to accept it for what it was. We have here the forgiveness meditation. Forgiveness is a gift that we give to ourselves. It may feel good to sit on the right side of a conflict, but holding on to the negativity only hurts us in the end. Lay down and close your eyes. Visualize the person you're in conflict with standing in front of you. Regardless of the situation, imagine that you tell the person that you love them and watch them turn away from you and walk into the distance. Repeat often. You know, I think something that Spirit is wanting to say is like if there's any lingering things that is not bubble bath energy from your past, it's wanting you to find a place or, you know, a way to, Spirit's wanting you to find a way to dissolve those things of the past that aren't bubble bath energy, okay? Because they're not with you anymore. So this is like echoes of things that no longer exist. Okay, that's something that should make you feel safe. Okay, this must have been a very painful scenario for you, especially because you're someone of high morals. But this situation left you feeling numb. You're a moral person, though, okay? It was imperative for you that you found resolve. It's like, I think you felt numb because you're an incredibly moral person, you're an incredibly loyal person, and you found yourself unknowingly being allegiant to things that not just weren't hurting you, but also I'm getting that you disagreed with. I'm getting you found yourself allegiant. Ooh, it's like a person that you were allegiant to, you thought you were on the same page with. They ended up being like morally inferior is what I'm hearing. It led to a lot of difficult feelings for you because you were allegiant to them and loyal to them, and it's like it hit you on more levels than just distrust and like whatever else level it hit you on. It hit you also on like a moral level, a philosophical level. Like I'm getting the feeling of you feeling like you had been like duped morally. You were being sold something special and sacred, maybe you thought, but what you received and said was something like morally corrupt. Okay. Spirit's wanting you to remain carefree. Okay, in this bubble bath energy, do your best to, you know, tap into that play mindset and engaging with play physically. Make sure you're luxuriating and taking care of self. That is truly like the spot that you're in. So with that said, we are going to read this Get Calm. We can slow our heart rate and calm down. Either lay down and close your eyes or sit comfortably. Scrunch your toes up for 3 seconds and then let them completely relax. Next, contract the muscles in your whole foot for 3 seconds and then let go. Move on to your ankles, calves, knees, thighs, and the rest of your body. One section at a time, contract for 3 seconds and then let it go. Try and complete this all the way up to your scalp. So I'm getting pile 3 in all this bubble bath energy. There could be some lingering anger, frustration, or irritation. It's very deep, okay? It's very under the surface, like so much so that it's kind of merely repressed. It is suppressed. I think it's suppressed because you are this like caring, pure of heart, pure of mind and intention individual. And so that's one reason. And then also because you've been wronged so deeply. Okay. Those 2 reasons together, it makes you more likely to suppress this anger from this past situation. But, you know, in every way that you can, let go of this. Calm yourself, calm your nervous system. Find ways to play. Find ways to connect to self. Connect to spirit. Okay? I'm getting here. Acknowledge and shift. Sometimes feelings can overwhelm you. Labeling them can help you regulate. Notice when you feel an emotion. Take a moment to feel it in your body and then take a deep breath while feeling it. Give the emotion a name and characteristics. Acknowledge the feeling and then give yourself permission to shift focus back to what you're doing. So it can be helpful just as a first step, if you don't already, in those moments where you're having feelings that are uncomfortable, instead of, you know, trying to push them away or not acknowledge them, it can be helpful to just simply acknowledge and then, you know, acknowledge simply and let it pass. Shift your focus, just as it says, acknowledge and shift. A lot of what you've been through has the potential to, you know, I'm getting like, it's as if you've stayed in your bubble bath too long and your skin is like wrinkly and all the bubbles have disappeared. That's not the energy, okay? But it can easily become that if you just are mindless in this passageway you're in this position you're in. It can easily become that because there's unresolved emotions, but there's so much positive for you to focus on, and that's what Spirit is wanting you to do. Okay, focus on the positivity, and when these emotions do arise, acknowledge them and then shift your perspective back to the things that you're passionate and peaceful about. You know, things that bring you peace, things that stir passion, things that encourage you to play. Acknowledging and shifting this emotion. And I'm getting like these emotions may come up out of boredom and also out of loneliness. Okay, so it's like it's like an unoccupied mind is not your best friend right now. But to close out your reading, pile 3, okay, we have Page of Swords, new ideas, thirst for knowledge, new ways of communicating. You're finding new ways to communicate, okay? That's kind of like the reason that you're processing all of this. And particularly, I'm hearing processing all alone. And it's interesting how these triangles are shaped here. I forget if this is like fire and air, potentially. And then we have them again on the next 2 cards, but separately. You have to, as much as you rest, be open to receptive action. And that's kind of hard to describe, but essentially doing what you have to do what you need to do, and not too much more than that. Okay, this isn't like a chase. Okay, there's nothing for you to chase. Pile 3, we are going to leave your message off there for today. I hope that was incredibly helpful and informative. If it was, don't forget to leave a like and your thoughts in the comments below. If you are a little shy or you don't know what to say, let's leave an apple emoji or a bubble bath emoji for you, pile 3. And I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. I want to thank you so much for being here and for watching. Bye for now.